London, arguably the capital city of the world, with an economy built on financial and other business services. Nowhere in Europe can match the money-making formula you'll find around here.
The city is absolutely definitely a prize asset.
But the capital has problems too. We've become dependent on the risky business of banking. And we find ourselves with too few jobs in other industries.
There's so many unemployed in this area alone, there ain't enough jobs to go around.
London is at a turning point. The growth and success it's enjoyed for decades can no longer be taken for granted. So it's no wonder at a difficult time, people are asking the difficult question: what shape do we want London's economy to take? Tonight, we're at the Museum of London in the centre of the Square Mile, and we're going to have a discussion you don't normally hear. We're dispensing with the usual chat about our economy this week or next. We're going to ask how we want our economy to evolve over the next 2 decades. Now, you don't need me to remind you what's dominated it over the last 2. So let's start by asking, do we want more of the same?
I'm Nicola Horlick. I have been a fund manager for 29 years. I'm taking part in this programme because I feel very strongly that someone does need to stand up and defend financial services and banking and so on, and there are very few people who seem to be prepared to do that. Just looking at the statistics, we cannot do without financial services in this country. The city is absolutely definitely a prize asset. London relies extremely heavily on the financial services sector. Virtually every major bank in the world has some sort of office in London, and it does employ a huge number of people across the southeast. We have to compete on a global stage and make sure that we actually safeguard that industry and protect it and encourage it to grow further rather than trying to undermine it.
Encourage it to grow further rather than undermine it. Nicola, is there really potential for the city to grow more? I mean, I thought it was sort of had outgrown itself over the last 10 years.
Well, it ebbs and flows because we have ups and downs in markets, and when markets go down, people sadly lose their jobs. But overall, it's grown very strongly over many years, and I believe it can still grow further because there are places in the world that are growing.
That are buying
Brazil
financial
and China.
services.
Well, they're buying financial services, their companies are growing, they need to be financed. People will save more in the Far East as those economies evolve. What I do is actually fund management. I'm not a banker in inverted commas. I actually invest people's savings, and that is an industry that will grow as wealth grows around the world.
Philippe Legrain, you're an economist, you've thought very hard about this, a writer. Financial services, could it be yet bigger?
It could be, but it shouldn't be. The city needs to be simpler, it needs to be safer, and it no longer ought to be subsidised by the taxpayer. And that means it needs to be smaller. I mean, London is overly reliant on a dangerously unstable activity, a large part of which involves extracting value created by the rest of the economy. That's particularly true of fund management, where you see that the fund managers capture most of the gains from the funds which are invested with them. They don't earn higher returns than you could individually.
What's interesting is you both agreed that it was possible the city could grow. Let's ask Owen Jones whether it's desirable.